They say karma comes for everyone eventually. I used to believe that meant the universe would handle justice on its own time. Now I know better. Sometimes karma needs a helping hand. My helping hand. My name is Anne, and 3 months ago I thought I had it all. A loving husband, a successful career in marketing, and a best friend who'd been by my side since college. That was before I caught the first glimpse of the cracks in my perfect life, spreading like spiderwebs across everything I thought was solid. It started on a Tuesday evening. Jake was in the shower, and I was curled up on our bedroom couch finishing some work emails. His phone kept lighting up on the nightstand, once, twice, 3 times. I tried to ignore it, but the blue notification light pulsed like a warning beacon. Then I saw her name, Michaela. Did she suspect anything last night? The preview message flashed across his screen before fading to black. My stomach dropped, but I forced myself to keep breathing normally when I heard the shower turn off. Jake came out wrapped in a towel, water droplets still clinging to his shoulders. "Hey babe, what time is Erin coming over tomorrow?" "7," I replied, proud of how steady my voice sounded. "She's bringing that wine we liked from the dinner party." He nodded, reaching for his phone. I watched his face carefully, but he'd always been good at maintaining his composure. Too good, maybe. "Everything okay?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "Your phone was going crazy." "Oh, just work stuff," he said, thumbs moving rapidly across the screen. "That project with the Singapore office is a mess." Lie number 1. Michaela worked at my company, not his. The doorbell rang, saving me from having to respond. It was Erin, my younger sister, early as usual. "I know I'm not supposed to be here until tomorrow," she announced, brushing past me with a grocery bag. "But I made too much pasta, and I refuse to eat leftovers alone again." Jake emerged fully dressed, greeting Erin with his usual charm. "Perfect timing, I'm starving." We gathered around the kitchen island, and I watched them both. Jake, my husband of 3 years, and Erin, my sister, who could always read me like a book. But tonight, even she seemed fooled by my practiced smile. "Anne, you're quiet," Erin noted, twirling pasta onto her fork. "Rough day at work?" "Just tired," I said. "We had that big presentation with Elias today." "Oh, right," Jake perked up. "How did Michaela's part go? She was nervous about it." My fork scraped against the plate. "Was she? I hadn't heard." "She mentioned it when I ran into her at the coffee shop," he said smoothly. "You know, the one near my office." Lie number 2. Jake's office was downtown. Michaela got her coffee from the shop next to our house. "Speaking of Michaela," Erin chimed in, "is she still coming to the charity gala next month? I need to finalise the seating chart." Jake's phone buzzed again. He glanced at it, then quickly turned it face down. "She wouldn't miss it," I said, watching his reaction. "Would she, Jake?" "No, definitely not," he agreed, but his eyes didn't quite meet mine. After Erin left, Jake claimed he had emails to catch up on and retreated to his home office. I sat in our bedroom, staring at my reflection in the vanity mirror. The woman looking back at me seemed different somehow, harder around the edges, more alert. My own phone lit up with a text from Michaela. "Lunch tomorrow? Have some exciting news to share?" I typed back, "Wouldn't miss it, can't wait to hear everything." As I set my phone down, I caught Jake's reflection in the mirror. He was standing in the doorway watching me. For a moment our eyes met in the glass, and I wondered if he could see what I was already becoming. The woman who would burn everything down to find the truth. "Coming to bed?" he asked softly. "Soon," I smiled. "Just need to finish one thing." He had no idea how true those words were. I waited until Jake's breathing became deep and steady, the gentle rhythm that meant he was truly asleep. 2:37 a.m. The numbers on our bedroom clock burned into my retinas as I slipped out of bed. His phone lay charging on his desk, the same desk where I'd watched him work countless evenings, bringing him coffee and stealing kisses between his meetings. Now I was stealing something else. The truth. The password was easy, our wedding date. I'd seen him type it enough times, always so confident I'd never violate his privacy. The irony wasn't lost on me. The messaging app opened to his conversation with Michaela. My hands trembled as I scrolled up, 3 months of messages. My stomach churned as I began to read. Michaela. Miss our late night talks already. Anne was so clingy at dinner tonight. Jake. You know how she gets. The safe choice isn't always the exciting one. Michaela. Remember that night in Phoenix when she was at that conference? Jake. How could I forget? Phoenix, 2 months ago. I'd called Jake from my hotel room every night, missing him so much it hurt. Now I knew why he'd seemed distracted during those calls. A sound escaped my throat, something between a laugh and a sob. I quickly covered my mouth, glancing at Jake's sleeping form. He didn't stir. More messages burned across the screen. Michaela. She's wearing that awful blue dress again, the one that makes her look like a librarian. Jake. Be nice. She tries. Michaela. Not hard enough. Remember when we joked about her presentation skills at the Christmas party? Jake. God, you were so bad. Oh, Anne, your slides are so professional. The Christmas party. I'd been so proud of that presentation. Michaela had hugged me afterward, gushing about how well I'd done. I'd treated her to lunch the next day as a thank you for her support. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Erin. Why are you awake? I texted back. Couldn't sleep. You okay? You seemed off earlier. I stared at her message, remembering all the times Erin had warned me about Michaela. Something's not right with her, she'd said, the way she looks at Jake sometimes. I'd defended Michaela then. After all, we'd been best friends since our first day of college. She'd been my maid of honour, had helped me pick out my wedding dress, had held my hand when I thought I might be pregnant last year. Call me, I texted Erin. She answered on the first ring. What's wrong? I slipped into the bathroom, closing the door softly. I need you to tell me something, I whispered. That day you came over early 3 months ago. You saw something, didn't you? The silence on the other end was deafening. Erin? I saw them in his car, she finally said. Outside that coffee shop near your house. It looked intense. Michaela was crying and Jake was holding her hand. I told myself it was innocent, that I was reading too much into it, and I'm so sorry. Don't be, I said, surprised by how calm I felt. You're telling me now, that's what matters. What are you going to do? I thought about the messages, about Phoenix, about every fake smile and hidden laugh. Nothing, I said. Not yet. Anne? Trust me, Erin, I need to handle this my way. After hanging up, I returned to Jake's phone, taking screenshots and sending them to myself. As I went to close the messaging app, a new text from Michaela appeared. Can't sleep thinking about you. Remember when we used to stay up all night talking about our what-ifs? Sometimes I wonder if we made the wrong choice back then. I placed Jake's phone back exactly where I'd found it, then slipped into bed. He stirred slightly, reaching for me in his sleep. I let him pull me close, breathing in his familiar scent. I love you, he mumbled, still mostly asleep. I know, I whispered back, staring into the darkness. That's what makes this so much worse. Tomorrow I would smile at my husband over breakfast. I would meet Michaela for lunch and listen to whatever lies she planned to tell me. I would play my part perfectly, but first I had some planning to do. Michaela chose the trendy brunch spot downtown, the kind with overpriced avocado toast and Instagram-worthy lighting. She was already there when I arrived, wearing the designer dress I'd complimented last month. Now I wondered if she'd worn it on purpose, another little dig wrapped in false friendship. Anne! She stood up to hug me, her perfume overwhelming. I ordered us mimosas. We're celebrating. I slid into my seat, arranging my face into what I hoped was eager curiosity. What are we celebrating? Well, she leaned forward, lowering her voice conspiratorially. I shouldn't say anything yet, but Elias basically promised me that promotion to creative director. You know, the Seattle position? The position I'd been working toward for 2 years, of course. That's amazing! I reached across the table to squeeze her hand. Though we'll miss you here, Jake especially. You two have gotten so close lately. Something flickered across her face. Surprise? Worry? Before her smile returned. Oh, you know how Jake is, always looking out for everyone. Especially during those late-night conversations, I said softly. The mimosa froze halfway to her lips. What? The texts, Michaela. I saw them. She set her glass down carefully. I don't know what you're talking about. Phoenix, I said, the Christmas party, all those coffee shop meetings you thought I didn't know about. You're being paranoid. Her voice took on that condescending tone she used with junior staff. Jake and I are friends. You're the one who wanted us to get along, remember? Friends don't mock their friends' wives behind their backs. Anne, friends don't comfort each other's husbands in parked cars. Her face paled. Who told you that? Does it matter? I pulled out my phone, sliding it across the table. What matters is what you're going to do next. She glanced at the screen. A photo of her meeting with our company's biggest competitor last week, the one where she'd shared confidential pitch materials. How did you? I have more, I cut her off. Much more. Would you like me to send them to Elias? I'm sure he'd be very interested in why his potential creative director is leaking proprietary information. You wouldn't dare. But her hands were shaking. We're best friends. Were, I corrected. We were best friends, before you decided my husband was more interesting. Nothing happened between us. She was almost shouting now, drawing looks from nearby tables. You're so paranoid. This is exactly what Jake meant about... She stopped abruptly, realizing her mistake. About what? I pressed. About how I'm the safe choice? How I try but not hard enough? Please tell me more about what my husband says about me when he thinks I can't hear. Anne, please. Her voice cracked. Whatever you think you know. I know enough. I stood up, dropping cash on the table for the untouched mimosas. Enjoy Seattle, Michaela, if you make it there. Wait, she grabbed my arm. What are you going to do? I looked down at her hand until she released me. Nothing, yet, but I'd start updating your resume if I were you. As I walked out, my phone buzzed with a text from Erin. How did it go? Phase 1 complete, I replied. Time for Phase 2. Another message came through from Jake. Michaela just called me crying. What did you say to her? I smiled, typing back. Just girl talk. You know how emotional she gets. Maybe you should check on her. At the office, I knocked on Elias's door. He looked up from his computer, gesturing me in. Anne, just the person I wanted to see. Have you heard from Michaela about the Seattle position? Actually, I perched on the edge of his desk like I'd seen Michaela do countless times. I'm worried about something I noticed in last week's pitch materials. Oh? He leaned forward, concerned. Maybe I'm being paranoid, I echoed Michaela's words with sweet poison, but I think we might have a leak. As I left his office 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. Remember me? Heard you might want to talk about Jake and what really happened in Boston. Raquel, perfect timing. The pieces were falling into place. The coffee shop where I met Raquel was nothing like the pretentious place Michaela preferred. This was a dim, quiet spot where secrets felt at home among the mismatched furniture and chipped mugs. Raquel hadn't changed much since college, still beautiful in that wild, untamed way that made other women nervous. She slid into the seat across from me, dark eyes assessing. I have to admit, she said, stirring her coffee, I was surprised to hear from you. Last I knew, Jake had convinced everyone I was crazy. Maybe I'm starting to question his version of events. She laughed, but there was no humour in it. Took you long enough. Let me guess. He's playing his games again. With my best friend this time. Of course he is. She pulled out her phone, scrolling through old messages. Jake has a pattern. He finds women who trust easily, convinces them they're special, different from the rest. Then when they catch on, he makes them sound unstable. Like he did with you in Boston? Her hand stilled. He told you about Boston? Only that you had a breakdown there, that you stalked him after the breakup. Is that what he said? She pushed her phone across the table. Read these. They're from right before your wedding. The messages made my stomach turn. Jake begging Raquel to meet him, saying he was making a mistake, saying I was the safe choice, but she was the one he couldn't forget. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? She took her phone back. Besides, he threatened to reveal some things about me if I tried to warn you. Things that would have ruined my career. My phone buzzed, Erin asking where I was. I quickly texted back. Getting ammunition, call you later. I need a favour, I told Raquel. How would you feel about coming back into Jake's orbit? Her smile was sharp. What did you have in mind? Later that evening I met Erin at her apartment. She paced while I explained my plan. This is insane, she said. Just divorce him and be done with it. It's not that simple. I showed her the screenshots from Jake's phone. Look what they've been saying about me, how they've been laughing at me. Don't I deserve more than just walking away? Of course you do, but then help me. I grabbed her hands. I need you to get Jake talking about Raquel at the charity gala next week. Make him nervous. Can you do that? She squeezed my hands. You know I can. But Anne, what about Michaela? Already in motion. I pulled up my email, showing her the anonymous tip I'd sent to Elias about the leaked pictures. By next week, her perfect reputation will start crumbling. You're scary when you're strategic, Erin said, but she was smiling. My phone lit up with a text from Jake. Working late tonight, don't wait up. I showed it to Erin. Want to bet who he's with? What are you going to do? I typed a response to Jake. No problem, having dinner with Erin anyway. Say hi to Michaela for me. 3 dots appeared as he typed. Disappeared, appeared again. Finally. What makes you think I'm with Michaela? Just a guess. She mentioned having to work late too. Funny coincidence. I could almost feel his panic through the phone. Good. You're playing with fire, Erin warned. No, I corrected her. I'm playing chess, and I'm about to take their queen. That night, I made sure Jake saw me looking at old college photos. One in particular caught his attention. Him with Raquel at a party, her red dress bright against his dark suit. God, I haven't thought about her in years, he lied smoothly. Really? I kept my voice casual. I heard she's back in town, something about a gallery opening next month. He tried to hide it, but I saw his hand shake slightly as he reached for his wine glass. Where did you hear that? Oh, you know how people talk. I kissed his cheek, tasting his guilt. I'm going to bed. Don't stay up too late. As I climbed the stairs, I sent one final text to Raquel. He took the bait. Your move. Her response came immediately. Time to make him squirm. Boston sends its regards. The office was buzzing with excitement. Elias had called an all-hands meeting, and everyone knew what it was about, the Seattle position. I watched Michaela from across the conference room, noting how she'd positioned herself prominently near the front, wearing her most expensive suit. Before we discuss the creative director role, Elias began, I want to address some concerning information that's come to light. Michaela's smile flickered. It appears certain confidential materials were shared with competitors. Elias's voice was steel wrapped in silk. We take such breaches very seriously. The room went silent. I could hear Michaela's sharp intake of breath. Until we complete our internal investigation, all senior promotions are on hold. His eyes swept the room, lingering briefly on Michaela. That's all for now. Please return to your work. People filed out whispering. Michaela remained frozen in her chair until only she, Elias, and I were left. Elias, she started, her voice trembling. I can explain. Save it for HR, he cut her off. They'll be in touch. As he left, Michaela whirled on me. This was you, wasn't it? Calmer, I shrugged, gathering my notes. It's a funny thing. I'll tell Jake everything, she hissed. How you've been spying on us, manipulating things. Go ahead. I moved closer, lowering my voice. Tell him how you got caught selling company secrets. Tell him how you lost your dream job. Tell him whatever you want. But remember, I have more ammunition than you can imagine. Her mascara was starting to run. You're destroying everything. No, Michaela, you did that yourself. Back at my desk, I found an email from Raquel with a photo attached. It showed her and Jake at a coffee shop, taken yesterday when he'd said he was at a client meeting. His hand was on her arm, his expression intense, perfect. I forwarded it to Erin with the message. Phase 3 ready. Bring this up at the charity gala tomorrow. My phone buzzed with Jake's caller ID. Hey, honey, I answered sweetly. Have you talked to Michaela? He sounded worried. She's not answering my calls. Oh, you haven't heard. There was some drama at work, something about leaked documents. I paused for effect. Why are you trying to call her anyway? She's your friend. I was concerned. That's so thoughtful of you. I let sarcasm colour my tone just slightly. By the way, how was your client meeting yesterday? The silence on his end was delicious. It was fine, he finally said. Pretty standard stuff. Interesting, because I heard you were at the Daily Grind. You know, where Raquel works? Anne. Don't worry about it, I cut him off. I'm sure you had your reasons. See you at home. I hung up before he could respond, then dialed Elias's number. Anne, he answered, sounding tired. Quite a day. I know this is awkward, I said, but given what's happened with Michaela, I'd like to formally apply for the Seattle position. Actually, he sighed, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. The board is considering keeping the position local after this mess. Would you be interested in taking it here instead? I smiled. That would be perfect. That evening, I arrived home to find Jake pacing the living room. We need to talk, he said. About Michaela or about Raquel? His face went pale. How did you know? I pulled out my phone, showing him the photo. I know everything, Jake. Every text, every lie, every little game you two played. It's not what you think. Save it. I headed for the stairs. By the way, I'm taking that promotion Michaela wanted. Turns out they're keeping it local. Funny how things work out, isn't it? Anne, please. Get some sleep, Jake. Tomorrow's the charity gala, and we wouldn't want to look tired in front of everyone. I paused at the top of the stairs. Especially since Raquel's going to be there, didn't I mention? I invited her as my +1. The look of pure panic on his face was better than any revenge I could have planned, but it was only the beginning. The charity gala sparkled with fake smiles and expensive champagne. I wore red, the same shade as Raquel's infamous dress from college. Jake couldn't stop staring, his fingers drumming nervously against his glass. Quite a turnout, Erin said, appearing at my side. Michaela's not here yet. She won't come. I sipped my champagne. Her invitation mysteriously got lost in the mail. You're evil, Erin grinned. Oh, look, here comes trouble. Raquel swept into the ballroom, wearing a dress that made every man turn and every woman whisper. She spotted Jake immediately, giving him a slow, knowing smile before making her way to us. Anne, darling, she air-kissed my cheek. This party is divine. Jake's glass nearly slipped from his hand. Jake, Raquel purred, you look exactly the same. Boston feels like yesterday, doesn't it? I need some air, he muttered, practically running toward the terrace. Erin laughed. That was beautiful. Want me to follow him? Give him a minute to sweat, I said. Then go work your magic. Raquel touched my arm. He's been texting me all week, you know, begging me not to tell you about what really happened. Did you save the messages? She patted her clutch, every single one. Across the room, I spotted Elias entering with several board members. Perfect timing. I nodded to Erin, who headed out to the terrace. Through the glass doors, I watched her corner Jake. Even from here, I could read his body language, defensive, trapped. Erin was gesturing animatedly, no doubt asking all the right questions about Boston. My phone buzzed, a message from Michaela. You think you've won, but you have no idea what Jake and I have planned. I showed the text to Raquel, who laughed. Should we tell her about the board meeting on Monday? The one where they're reviewing all communications about the leaked pitches? Let her squirm, I typed back. Enjoy your weekend, Michaela. It might be your last peaceful one for a while. Jake burst back inside, making a beeline for the bar. Erin followed, giving me a subtle thumbs up. Your sister is good, Raquel observed. He looks ready to crack. Just wait. I checked my watch. 3, 2, 1. Right on cue, Michaela stormed in, her face flushed with anger or alcohol. Probably both. She grabbed Jake's arm, trying to pull him aside, but he shook her off. Not now! We heard him hiss. Yes, now! She was getting louder. We need to talk about what she knows. Heads were turning. Elias frowned in their direction. You're drunk, Jake said. Go home. Don't you dare dismiss me! Michaela's voice rose higher. After everything we've done, everything we planned. Shut up! Jake grabbed her arm roughly. Is there a problem? Elias appeared beside them, his expression stern. No, Jake started, but Michaela cut him off. Yes, Anne set us up. She's trying to ruin everything because she found our messages. The room went silent. Jake released her arm like it burned. Messages? Elias raised an eyebrow. About the pitches, Michaela slurred. About Boston. About everything. I think, Elias said quietly, we should continue this discussion in my office on Monday. Michaela's face crumpled as she realized what she'd done. She turned, finally spotting me with Raquel. You, she seethed, starting toward us. Careful, Raquel stepped forward. You wouldn't want to add a salt to your list of problems. Jake tried to slip away, but Erin blocked his path. Going somewhere, brother-in-law? We haven't finished our chat about Boston. Anne, he pleaded, looking at me, can we talk, privately? No need. I smiled, raising my voice slightly. I think Michaela and Raquel have said quite enough already, but maybe you'd like to explain to everyone why you're so nervous about Boston. His face went ashen. You wouldn't. Try me. He looked around the room, at the curious onlookers, at Michaela's tear-streaked face, at Raquel's knowing smirk, and did the only thing he could do. He ran. Well, Erin said into the awkward silence, I guess that's one way to end a party. But it wasn't the end, not even close. 1 week after the gala disaster, I hosted a dinner party. The invitations called it a gratitude gathering, a chance to thank everyone who'd supported me through the years. Jake thought it was my way of making amends. Michaela probably assumed she wasn't invited. They were both wrong. I'd set the dining room perfectly, place cards, wine glasses, and at each seat a beautifully bound booklet titled Messages of Gratitude. Are you sure about this? Erin asked, adjusting the centerpiece. Once you do this, there's no going back. I'm done going back. I checked my phone. They're all coming, even Raquel. The doorbell rang at exactly 7. Jake answered it, playing the perfect host, completely unaware that this was his last performance in our home. Guests filtered in, Elias and his wife, several colleagues, Michaela, looking nervous but determined, and finally Raquel. The tension in the room could have been cut with one of my expensive steak knives. Before we eat, I stood, raising my glass. I want to thank everyone for coming. These past few years have taught me so much about loyalty, truth, and karma. Jake smiled uncertainly. Michaela gripped her wineglass tighter. I've prepared something special for each of you. I gestured to the booklets. Please open them. The room filled with the sound of pages turning, followed by sharp intakes of breath. Inside each booklet was a carefully curated collection of screenshots. Every text, every email, every betrayal, documented in chronological order. What is this? Jake stood up so fast his chair toppled backward. The truth, I said simply. Everything from the past year. Your late-night conversations with Michaela, your recent meetings with Raquel, the real story about Boston. Michaela was frantically flipping pages. These are private messages. Were they private when you were mocking me? When you were planning to take my job while sleeping with my husband? We never slept together, she protested. No. I turned to the last page. Then explain these hotel receipts from Phoenix. The room erupted in chaos. Elias was reading intently, his face darkening at the sections about leaked company information. His wife was staring at Michaela with undisguised disgust. "You can't prove any of this," Jake tried, but his voice shook. "Actually," Raquel spoke up, "I can prove the Boston part. Should I tell them about the baby, Jake? About how you made me take care of it because it would ruin your chances with Anne?" The silence was deafening. "You did what?" I whispered, genuinely shocked. This was one revelation I hadn't expected. "He told me I was crazy," Raquel continued, her voice breaking. "Said no one would believe me. Then he met you, the safe choice, and made sure everyone thought I was unstable. You're still the coward who made me get rid of it," she threw her wine in his face, "and now everyone knows." Michaela stood up, mascara running. "This is insane. Elias, you can't believe—" "The board meeting is still on for Monday," he cut her off coldly. "Though I don't think we'll need it now. Your resignation will do." "Anne," Jake reached for me. "Baby, we can fix this." I stepped back. "The divorce papers are on your desk. Sign them tonight." "You can't do this to me." "To you?" I laughed. "Look around, Jake. Look at all the lives you've ruined with your lies. I'm not doing anything to you. This is karma finally catching up." "You set us up," Michaela accused. "All of this, Raquel, the gala, everything, you planned it." "Yes," I admitted, "but you made it so easy. Your egos, your lies, your complete confidence that you'd never get caught. You did most of the work for me." "Get out," I told them both. "Your things will be shipped to whatever address you provide my lawyer." As they left, Erin started slow clapping. Others joined in. Raquel wiped her eyes, giving me a grateful nod. "Well," Elias said, raising his glass, "I believe we still have dinner to enjoy. And Anne, about that promotion—" I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in months. "Actually, Elias, I have some ideas about restructuring the creative department." The night wasn't over, but the hard part was done. As I looked around at the supportive faces, I realized something important. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just exposing the truth. It's reclaiming your power while doing it. The morning sun streamed through my new apartment's windows as I sipped coffee, scrolling through emails. Elias had approved my proposal to split the creative department into 2 teams, with me heading the innovation division. No Seattle needed. My phone buzzed. Another message from Jake. I'd blocked his number, but he kept finding new ways to reach me. "Please talk to me. I'll do anything." Delete. The doorbell rang. Erin walked in, using her spare key, carrying bagels and a newspaper. "You made the business section," she announced, tossing it on my counter. "Local marketing director revolutionizes agency structure." "That's not why you're here at 8 a.m, I said, noting her expression. "Fine. Michaela reached out to me." She grabbed a bagel. "She's moving to Cincinnati. Apparently that's the only place that would hire her after everything went public." "And Jake?" "Living with his brother, drinking too much, telling anyone who'll listen that you're crazy." She smirked. "No one's buying it, though, especially after Raquel's story got out." The doorbell rang again. This time it was Raquel, looking more peaceful than I'd ever seen her. "Sorry I'm early," she said. "But I wanted you to know I'm pressing charges against Jake for what happened in Boston. The statute of limitations hasn't expired, and I have proof now." "Good," I said, pouring her coffee. "You deserve justice." "So do you," she replied. "Thank you for believing me when no one else did." My phone lit up with a text from Jonah, a childhood friend who'd recently moved back to town. "Still on for the gallery opening tonight?" "Who's Jonah?" Erin peered at my phone. "And why are you smiling like that?" "Just an old friend," I said, typing back. "Wouldn't miss it." "Right," Erin drawled. "An old friend who's been taking you to dinner 3 times this week." "Speaking of dinner," Raquel cut in, "did you hear about Michaela's farewell party? No one showed up except Jake, and he was too drunk to stay." "Karma," Erin sang. "No," I corrected her. "Consequences. They're different." My laptop pinged with an email from my lawyer. Jake had finally signed the divorce papers. No contests, no claims, No more fights. How does it feel? Erin asked. Being free? I walked to the window, looking out at the city. Like I can breathe again. Are you ever going to tell us what really made you snap? Raquel asked. What made you plan everything so carefully? I turned back to them. It wasn't just the texts or the betrayal, it was realizing that they thought I was stupid, that I would just accept their lies and keep playing my part in their story. So you wrote your own ending instead? Erin nodded. No, I smiled. I wrote my new beginning. My phone buzzed again. Jonah sending a photo of the art piece he wanted to show me tonight. It was a phoenix rising from ashes, but looking closer, the ashes were actually scattered words. Truth, strength, rebirth. I should go. Raquel stood. My lawyer's waiting, but Anne, thank you for everything. After they left, I opened my laptop to finish some work. A notification popped up. Someone had tagged me in a professional photo from last week's charity event. I was standing at the podium, announcing our department's new direction, looking confident and strong. The comments below were telling. Amazing presentation. Well-deserved promotion. Such an inspiration. No one mentioned Jake or Michaela. No one questioned my abilities or called me paranoid. My success wasn't tied to their destruction. It had simply been unveiled by their removal from my life. My phone lit up one last time. A message from an unknown number. You think you've won, but karma works both ways. M. I laughed, typing back. You're right, Michaela. Karma does work both ways. That's why I'm here, and you're in Cincinnati. Enjoy the Midwest. Then I blocked that number too, grabbed my keys and headed to the office. I had a department to run, a gallery opening to attend, and a life to live, one that was finally, completely my own. They say karma comes for everyone eventually, but sometimes karma needs a helping hand, and my hands, they were more than capable of building something beautiful from the ashes of betrayal.